Good morning. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host for How to Fight CPS and Win. And I know that a lot of you that are watching this are fighting your own issues about getting your family together and getting your children together and how best to uh, do so. It's a hard, long road to success. But I know that there's someone there that is dedicated daily for a long time. That person is Vincent. He's a lawyer and well versed in the child protection um, CPS, and he would fight for your rights. And he knows how to go through the process. That's what you need. You need an attorney to go through the process. And that being said, we're like to hear your stories out there. The phone number to call is 888 Please call in and uh, state uh, what's happening with your case in CPS, the Child Protection uh, System in there. It's a part of the social services, but it's supposed to be to help you get your children and family back together. But it hasn't been the case. I've experienced this firsthand myself. I had a horrific, terrible nightmare where my family was taken and broken apart and turned against each other, and it was a really drastic, very sadness in my life. It took me a long time to work through it, but it destroyed the way that your children are around your parents. They were taught not to hug your parents. They were taught to put their hands aside. They were cuffed on the back of the ear when they went to church or did something that the monitors weren't thinking they were supposed to do. There was no positive reinforcement. The Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts were ruined, and as I say, our family was so broken apart by the lies and the way the social workers lie in court. Even the judges are so bad. The judge that tried my case used to be a judge for auto damages, and now he's authoritative on child protection. The judges and the courts and the attorneys representing you, the public defenders and all that, are all against you. They're not for you. They're on there for to get it through fast, and it's a horrible experience. Now, Vincent Davis, who is a licensed attorney in California, has strategies of how to deal with your case. One of the first things I wish I had known is that you don't need to talk to CPS without an attorney present. I thought you had to. And then they'll keep harassing you and harass you. They'll try to bring out your police. You don't need to talk to the police either. They have to have a search warrant. They have to have a reasonable cause to do so. There's all kinds of tricks the police use with CPS. CPS in My experience was in Orange County, California, and that particular agency, from the top up to all the supervisors I went through, to the CEO of them, who sits up in a glorified office, while other people are starving out there. Um, they're worthless, worthless, worthless. They have no intelligence at all, no background in anything. And so they try to use Boys Town as a foster care system, and Boys Town destroyed our kids. You see, the problem is with CPS, there are the parents that are bad, that maybe need corrections. There are parents that are struggling in life that need help. And then there are the professional parents that sometimes have an issue with life. They have a hiccup and they need help. But at no time during the whole process was there ever a family get together where the family could talk it out with professionals or anything. Nothing was offered. When my daughter was taken from me, I never saw her again. And I've still not seen her since age 12. She's 21 now. I encourage her other siblings to see her and her sister. Her sister stopped seeing me on June 14th when she graduates from college that I ended up paying for. And she has not seen me, but not only seen me, my wife and the mother. And, she has been really devastated by this. I've been devastated by this. It's been an ongoing battle. Our family's still destroyed today. Our oldest son, well, I shouldn't say the oldest son, but our son, who's now 24, in his senior year of college, quit. And he's been bouncing around. He doesn't know what he's doing or the directions he's taken. And right now, he's trying to recover. Unfortunately, it's been a long battle, and it's a shame because he's 24 years old and he's heavily into debt. And why should he be that way at 24? Um, anyway, we as a family are living and struggling in a small apartment. We lost our home. I had to sell our home, and we uh, are really besides ourselves. Um, Grace, you're there. What do you want me to talk about now? Uh, well, my story. I guess my story started in 2010, and at that time I had a beautiful job. I was making affordable money to support my family in a really beautiful home, and we had a really great, great family. And then, unfortunately to me, the job that I was working at was funded by contracts, and my purpose or my goal at my work was to get all these jobs together. I was told to get $10 million with 20% profit. Instead, I got $53 million with a lot of jobs. And most of the work was the state of California. They were small projects, $250,000 or less. And the governor at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was having financial difficulties, and he laid off a lot of the social workers because they're getting too high paid. He took our contracts and wrote IOUs. And when I went to the bank to try to get IOUs, the banks laughed. Of course, the banks had gone through hard times in 2007, so they weren't too keen on loaning money to anybody. But I couldn't get a credit line or anything to start these projects. And my dream job, I had been laid off. I've been working for over 40 years in civil engineering and construction, and that's building roads and highways. And at first, I had put away lots of money to savings, and I tried to invest in some businesses that went sour. I took care of my family, and for 5 years, we struggled to pay the mortgage. I had to sell my house. But during the process of my losing my job and so forth, my mom and dad were slowly passing away in age. And then when my dad passed away, I had to get my parents' belongings, which is a lot, and I moved them into my home, which doubled our home capacity. And so we had a lot of boxes around, and it looked really cluttered. And the only thing that they could find anything wrong with me was the clutter wasn't safe for the kids. The kids' rooms were clean. They daily took showers. There's electricity and food for them. They're taken to school, and they were doing fine at school. One of them was in high school, one was in middle school, and another one was in junior high. No, correction. Both the two of them were in junior high, and one was in high school. And the sad part about it is that they interfere right away. They make assumptions. They have a trump card that CPS uses called sexual allegations. They don't have to prove anything. They just have to theorize it. Well, what they do is they use that trump card as a trading card or something like that. So they got the police involved, and the police, I hate to say it, are really bad in the area where I live. And the police made up some trumped up charges. It took from a year and a half, and I finally just settled with them, and they dropped the sexual charges because there's no grounds for the sexual charges. But the cluttering, the boxes stacked, they said you're endangering your children, and none of them fell on my children. None of them, it was still safe to walk around, but they had to come up with something, so I agreed to that, and that became a misdemeanor. And that was a nightmare and a half because as a misdemeanor, there's all kinds of classes you got to attend. They don't pay for it. You got a weekly probation person you report to, and it was a trying thing. During that whole time, not once did the Child Protection Agency um, or services ever um, try to help get the family back together. I was visiting at first uh, my three kids in their foster care place. Right away, they went to foster care. And the reason behind all that, y'all should be aware, the way that the Child Protection Services make money is to have your children in the system because then they're paid by the federal government by the number of children they have. And as long as they're in the system, they make a lot of money. Secondly, the courts are so jam packed. You got the low income, the high income, the middle class, the lower class. You got all these people, and it's like a cattle herd in court. The courts are very trying. You spend all day, you prepare all day. You're not allowed to talk in court. Your attorney's supposed to go there and fight. And at first, I just had I had an attorney that was representing a public defender, and they're the worst case to get because they do nothing for you. In fact, they try to settle it quick so they get on to the next case. They just want to rush it through. Luckily, I had my wife had found Vincent Davis and said I should check him out. So we met, we talked, and he came to our aid to defend us. And it was really a hard struggle because he came in late into the game there. Then we found out during the case that the people um, that were lying and so forth made it so much more storytelling. There's a lot of storytelling going on. There's no facts to support their case. And the judge doesn't want to hear about anything. I said so many times I want to talk to the judge. I felt like Alice in Wonderland in a rabbit hole I couldn't get out of. It was a terrible. And then you're supposed to maintain your job, maintain your routines like your Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. My son was wanted to be an Eagle. His scouting thing was ruined because he had this monitor around and people are looking at him kind of queer, like, you know, what's wrong with him? And my young son, who was starting out in Cub Scouts, had the same thing happen. Also, he was very much into we also a church family, and we go to our church, and there's certain ways we do church and so forth. The monitors came into the church, and the thing was, anytime you do something, they would come up and try to exaggerate or tell the story or something like that. They always were on you all the time. There was never once was there a sit down meeting at a professional place with maybe psychologists come together. You see, each person in this system is given your own psychiatrist. So if you have a family of, let's say, seven, actually we have a family of eight, but if you have a family of seven, you can imagine seven psychiatrists, and they don't talk to each other, and they are corrupt. They are really bad. We found in the end there's stories that they told our kids that weren't true, and the children were led astray on a lot of issues. And so I have, me and my wife have struggled, and we've struggled to take care of our family. Um, Somehow my son got through his high school. I don't know how he did it. My youngest son got through his middle school, and he's now a senior in high school, and played varsity football, and that was really good. Ever since we got it, it took from uh, 2015 when they got us to 2017, end of 2017, to get our two boys back. Our daughter was so brainwashed, and this is a sad travesty. She was brainwashed into thinking that she needed to divorce her parents. So she's changed her name, and now family members are spreading false rumors. Again, it's still happening. It's really, really sad. They're spreading false rumors. They're spreading false rumors about me as a dad. Uh, and it's an ongoing fight. It's been an ongoing fight. I had a job, and unfortunately, when I lost a job in 2010, I worked steadily. Um, so now I moved to another job, which I had. I just recently lost the job. So now, so the story of mine is long and lengthy, and it's very time consuming. Um, and so, what I feel that we need to discuss with CPS is one way is to go out and vote, get the judges in there. The judges are voted in, and people blindly get the judges. But we need a judge who has experience in family members, not a judge who knows how to repair cars, but a judge who knows how to deal with family. I think the goal in CPS, and this is something that CPS should be doing, is how do we get this family back together? We have reports, some of them may be true. There's horrendous stories about how family members have abused their children with punishment and all kinds of things, not feed them, stuff like that. But they treat all cases the same. They treat all cases. CPS does not, I don't know where their intelligence are or what. The social worker is all excited about her new Gucci purse or the bonus she gets or something like that. CPS is really a game they play. And I've heard this across the country. Many times I've guested on Vincent Davis's show, and I've heard horror stories that happened to the Indian children in South Dakota on the reservations. I happen to hear children in New York and Florida and different places because I did a lot of phone calling. And so CPS may be good in your city, but 99% of the times they're not good. Their whole goal is how do we make money? And how do you make money? You keep the children in the system. And how do you do that? You falsify documents and stories. We have a civil case that we could fight CPS where they lied. They lied so bad in court. They were trying to have our daughter adopted, and they lied. They completely lied. There was a case where they brought up where they said there was no domestic violence and that the husband of the mother was trying to adopt our daughter, um, had no domestic quarreling, no vice and stuff like that. And the social worker went along with it. The social worker knows so much. In one case, she tried to um, make a story that I violated the restraining order by being with close proximity of um, my house that I was paying for, where my family was staying, and I'd sit at the bus stop, which is more than the 100 yards mandatory that was there. But she lied. She outright lied, and they can get away with it because who they are. No one's going to question CPS. Vincent Davis is about the only person I know of that's fighting. There are other good attorneys, don't get me wrong, but he's the only one that's dedicated a show to helping people. And so I'd like to hear your stories and what you have to say, and I'd like to see what um, happened to your case. And the more we talk about it, the more we go out there and vote. The judges are good there. We need to change the system. The system should be number one. You need to bring people together. You need to still embrace the family. You need to family problems. You need to have professional people, psychiatrists that are able to work together. It's a together thing. It's just like our government. Our government has a Congress. They're supposed to work together, but even them having problems. So it's the number one problem is communication. Communication is really, really important. Do we have anybody that wants to share their story? I'm here. So I still got another 20 more minutes here on the show, and I'm trying to reflect on the topics and so forth. I think here's one topic is what do you do if you're confronted with an agency, and most of them are through the social services. It's the Child Protection Agency or the CPS, Child Protection Services. When they contact you and allege that you're doing something wrong with your children, at first they are inquisitive. And the first thing I recommend you to do is you do not talk to them. Your first step is you get yourself an attorney. I know it's a lot of money, but it's well money spent because in the end it will help you. But you need to hire an attorney like Vincent W. Davis. And so uh, the first step is you call the attorney and say, hey, look, I've been approached by CPS or social services or CPA or child protection agency. What do I do? And they usually will sit there and hear your case out, and then they will tell you there's a retainer fee and so forth. But they will, most attorneys will help you. How do you find a good attorney? Well, you actually can Google it and go for references, talk to people, and so forth. But you need an attorney that has been well established, who knows how to fight CPS and win. And um, then, as they keep contact you, like in my case, they a little bit of time. Eventually, I met with them, but I met with them outside, and not meet with them in my home. And at that time, I didn't think about getting an attorney, but I had nothing to hide. And like a fool, one day when they showed up, um, the police, I let the police into my home thinking they were the good guys because I had nothing to hide. There was nothing going on in my home that was detrimental to my children and my family, and I had nothing to hide. Yes, the house was cluttered with my parents' belongings. Yes, it looked like the house was needed in a better cleaning job. I agree with you on that case. But at that time, um, when you don't have work, don't have a job, it is hard out there to struggle. But one of my goals was to always have a roof over my family, food in their stomachs, and my children in school. And my children did get in school. It's sad that we lost her daughter. That is the saddest tragedy in my life, is losing uh, my daughter. And she is 21 now, and she won't have anything to do with me or her mother. She still sees her brother, but I think it's only fishing. I think anytime that my sons go to see family members, they're fishing. They want to know. They want to know because they were instrumental. That's one thing you have to do is have no family members interfere. They can be so bad because they'll talk to social workers, say something that isn't true, or they'll make up stories, or whatever the case may be. Um, what happened? Am I still live? Okay, I guess it's time to uh, sign off, and I'll talk again tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. And again, the number to call in is 888-888-6582. The show is daily at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we broadcast on the StreamYard. And but you can enter it through YouTube or Facebook. And we really want to help how to fight CPS and win. And in closing, I sign off. Thank you.